For most of human history, bread did not exist. Not as food. Not objects on couches. Not invisible says, not objects off tables. And then by accident, it did. No baker invented it. No genius dreamed it up. No ancient chef stood over a fire and shouted, "Eureka!" Bread was a mistake. A forgotten meal. A pile of wet grain left too long in the wrong place. And somehow, that mistake rewrote the entire human story. The question is not really how humans invented bread. The better question is this: how did a sticky, abandoned mush turn into the foundation of every civilization that followed? Because once you understand that, you understand something strange about us. We did not build the modern world on iron or fire or stone. We built it on a smear of paste that somebody forgot about. Picture the world about 30,000 years ago. There are no farms. There are no fields. There are no villages. Just small bands of humans moving across cold, open landscapes, chasing herds and ripening plants by season. You are one of them. You wake up under a hide, the air sharp in your lungs. Breakfast is whatever did not run away yesterday. Your diet is meat, marrow, roots, berries, nuts, and the occasional bird egg if you are lucky. Grain, the wild kind, is barely on the menu. It is tiny. It is hard. It is locked behind a shell your teeth cannot crack. To most ancient humans, wild wheat looked less like food and more like grass. And yet archaeologists keep finding something curious in the dirt of this era. Stones. Smooth, flat stones, paired with smaller round stones, worn down from grinding something soft against something hard. In a site in modern-day Italy, researchers found one of these grinding tools dated to around 30,000 years ago. On its surface, traces of starch. Ground starch from wild plants, including the ancestors of oats. That is older than agriculture by 20,000 years. Long before humans planted a single seed, they were grinding grain into flour. Think about that for a second. Flour existed before farming did. But flour on its own is not bread. Flour is dust. You cannot eat dust. So what did our ancestors do with it? They did the obvious thing. They mixed it with water. The result was a thin, gritty paste somewhere between porridge and wet cement. Some of it they probably drank. Some of it they probably smeared on hot stones near the fire. And the moment that paste hit a hot stone, something quiet and revolutionary happened. It hardened. It browned. It puffed just slightly at the edges. It became flatbread. The very first bread in human history was not loaves. It was crackers. Crispy, smoky, slightly chewy crackers, eaten by people who had never planted anything in their lives. In Jordan, archaeologists found charred crumbs of exactly this kind of bread inside a stone fireplace. The crumbs are about 14,500 years old. That is older than pottery. Older than cities. Older than the wheel. Bread predates almost everything we associate with civilization. And here is the important part. The people who baked those crumbs were still hunter-gatherers. They had no farms, no livestock, no villages worth the name. They were making bread the way you might make a sandwich today, as a small, convenient snack on a long day. Imagine you are one of them. You are crouched by a fire, the sun setting over a dry plain. You scoop up a handful of ground wild grain and mix it with a little water from a skin pouch. You slap it onto a hot, flat rock pulled from the edge of the flames. It hisses. It steams. You peel it off in one cracked, blackened piece. You tear it, share it, eat it warm. This is the first bread, and it is already a comfort food. But flatbread is not the bread you know. The bread you know rises. It is light, airy, full of soft little holes. That bread came later, and it came by accident. Now jump forward a few thousand years. Humans are still figuring out grain. Somebody, somewhere, grinds up a fresh batch of flour, mixes it with water, and then gets distracted. Maybe a child wanders off. Maybe a fight breaks out. Maybe the rain comes in. Whatever the reason, the dough is left sitting in a bowl uncovered for hours. Maybe a full day. In a warm room, that is plenty of time for something invisible to move in. The air, the grain, the bowl, your skin, the walls of the hut are all coated in microscopic yeast. Wild yeast is everywhere, and it is always hungry. It floats in. It lands on the wet flour. It starts eating the sugars in the dough. And as it eats, it breathes out a gas you know very well, carbon dioxide. Tiny bubbles begin forming inside the paste. The dough starts to swell. It rises, slowly, as if it is alive. To the person who comes back to that bowl, this looks like nothing short of magic. The food is breathing. The food is growing. The food has clearly been touched by something they cannot see. In some early cultures, this is interpreted as a spirit or a gift from a god. In a way, they are not wrong. The spirit in the dough is a living organism, and it has been working without rest. Now the person makes the second great accidental decision. They cook it anyway. They shoved the swollen, bubbling dough into a hot oven of clay or stone, half expecting disaster. Instead, they pull out something miraculous. A loaf. Soft inside, crisp outside. Lighter, fluffier, and far more delicious than the dense flatbreads they grew up on. The first leavened bread in human history was not designed. It was rescued. It was the happy ending of a forgotten meal. This sounds like a charming story, but its consequences are enormous. Because once people figure out how to capture that wild yeast, they cannot stop. They start saving a small piece of yesterday's dough. They mix it into today's batch. They feed it. They protect it. They carry it with them when they travel. That little lump of living dough is the first sourdough starter. And some modern bakeries still use starters that have been kept alive for centuries. In a real sense, families inherit their bread the way they inherit their stories. But here is where things get strange. To make bread reliably, you need a steady supply of grain. To have a steady supply of grain, you cannot just gather wild seeds in passing. You have to plant them. You have to weed them. You have to wait for them. You have to stay. Many archaeologists now argue that bread, and the desire for it, helped pull humans into farming in the first place. Not the other way around. For a long time, people assumed it went like this. Humans invented farming, then used the surplus grain to invent bread. But the charred crumbs in Jordan suggest the opposite. People were already obsessed with bread while still hunting and gathering. The craving came first. The farms came second. If that is true, then bread did not just feed civilization. Bread lured us into it. Quick pause because I am genuinely curious about this one. If you had to give up one type of bread for the rest of your life, what would it be? Sourdough, flatbread, pita, baguette, sandwich loaf, naan, tortilla, something else? Drop your answer in the comments because the variety we have today would have seemed insane to those first bakers in Jordan. To them, bread was bread. To us, bread is an entire universe. Now, back to the accident. Once humans settled down to grow grain, everything changed in ways nobody planned. Settlements grew into villages. Villages grew into towns. Towns grew into cities. And every one of those cities ran on the same basic equation: store the grain, mill the grain, bake the bread, feed the people. In ancient Egypt, this gets almost cartoonishly literal. Workers building the pyramids were partly paid in bread and beer, both made from the same grain. Egyptian tombs are full of bread loaves left for the dead, in dozens of shapes and sizes. Archaeologists have found loaves so well preserved you can still see the fingerprints of the baker pressed into the crust. A baker who lived 4,000 years ago, leaving a fingerprint that outlived their entire civilization. In Rome, bread became politics. The phrase, bread and circuses, comes from the idea that as long as the public was fed and entertained, the empire was safe. When the bread supply failed, riots followed. When the bread supply held, emperors slept easier. For thousands of years, in city after city, the smell of a bakery in the morning was the smell of order itself. And it all traces back, in a crooked, unbroken line, to someone who walked away from a wet bowl of flour and water. Here's the thing about accidents. A good accident is not really an accident. It is what happens when humans are paying attention. Our ancestors did not invent bread because they were trying to. They invented it because they noticed. They noticed that ground grain plus water plus heat made something edible. They noticed that dough left out got strange and tasty. They noticed that saving a piece of old dough made the next loaf better. Bread is not really a recipe. Bread is a long chain of small noticings passed down for thousands of years, mostly by people whose names we will never know. Anonymous grandmothers. Forgotten cooks. Bored children poking at sticky bowls. Tired travelers warming flatbreads on hot stones. Every loaf you have ever eaten is a quiet inheritance from them. Which brings us, finally, back to you. Tonight, somewhere in your kitchen, there is probably bread. Maybe a sliced loaf in a plastic bag. Maybe a half-eaten roll on the counter. Maybe a tortilla, a pita, a bun, a crust. When you tear off a piece and eat it, you are not just having a snack. You are repeating a 30,000-year-old gesture. You are doing exactly what that human by the fire did on a hot stone under a setting sun long before history began. You are eating an accident that refused to be forgotten. If this little tour through the history of bread made your brain feel a little fuller, hit that like button to help more curious people find hominin. Subscribe so you do not miss the next deep dive into the strange, accidental story of being human. And tell me down in the comments, what is the most ancient feeling food you eat regularly? The one that connects you to people long gone. Next time, we are looking at another quiet revolution that started by accident in a place you would never expect. Until then, eat your bread slowly. Somebody, a very long time ago, did something they did not understand, just so you could.